What's up, everybody? We're sitting here at the lovely LMD headquarters. I'm here with Jeff Bindle. Got Rick Lewis here. I'm Jamie Shaw. Today we're going to go over some rankings and watch lists. We're going to start with North Carolina's 2022 class.
Guys got it? All right, hard work on three, sprint to the next spot. Ready? 1, 2, 3, hard work. Sprint to the next spot. Don't walk. Get there, get there, get there, get there.
Got Rick Lewis here. I'm Jamie Shaw. Today we're going to go over some rankings and watch lists. We're going to start with North Carolina's 2022 class. This has been a class that is really highly regarded actually coming in. There have been a lot of guys that get national attention already with Team USA tryouts and already getting high major offers and all that kind of stuff. A couple guys that have been ranked nationally and everything. So we wanted to go through it a little bit. They're just starting, they're finishing their freshman years of high school. I wanted to go over some names for everybody to watch. Rick, we'll go ahead and start with you. Who are a couple guys that you had your eye on?
Well, I think before we get started on that, the one thing we might want to mention too is like in this 2022 class compared to other classes, this is going to be very top heavy at the national level. Mm-hmm. Sure. There's 3 guys that stand out that have a potential to be a top 20 kid, and that's Jalen Bradley, Jalen Hood-Shafino, and MJ Rice. Yep. I think those all in the category that we've had with the 2019 class and also with the 2020 class with the top players in the class. I have 5 players that I wanted to look at that I think will be in a top 15 conversation, and these are all kids we've seen multiple times either in a camp setting or in an AAU setting or in their high school team setting. And I'm going to go with alphabetical order on mine. The first one is Anthony Breeland. Anthony plays for Lincoln Charter, also plays for Team United. He's 6'1" point guard, high IQ, cerebral, team first point guard, very poised, very mature. For his grade, he's averaging almost 10 points a game for Lincoln Charter, so he's one that I have my eye out for. Excuse me. The other one is DJ Nix from Cannon. DJ is 6'7". I think Cannon's one of the top teams as far as youth that we have in the state. Naturally, his teammate and point guard Jaden Bradley is getting most of the attention, but I really like DJ Nix. He's 6'7". Lean, athletic, power forward wing, has a high motor, plays with a lot of passion. He rebounds, defends, just does a lot of things on the court that doesn't always show up in the box score, but he's one of these kids that also averages about a double-double. Next is Jacob Newman. Jacob plays at Myers Park, also for Team Loaded. Had a chance to see him more on the AAU side and also camp setting. I got to see him this last week for Myers Park. He's one of these players that's a two-sport star, plays football and basketball. He reminds me of a smaller version of Devon Dotson, but he has to develop a jump shot. That's his next step, but he's quick on quick, straight line drive. He has a chance to be pretty good too as far as in that class. Next is probably one of my favorite players, not just as a player but as a person, is Jalen Hood-Shafino, Northside Christian, Team Charlotte. I have been impressed with him last year when he played for Team Charlotte as an 8th grader. He played on the 17 under Team Charlotte team. I've always been impressed with his poise, his maturity. He's one of the nicest and most humble kids you'll ever meet, and that goes a long way. He's everything is yes sir, no sir, thank you. I think he's as good as person as he is player, and that says a whole lot. The next person I think that could be in the consideration as one of the top players, top 15 in the class, is Jeremy Baby Gregory, Donovan Gregory's little brother, as far as age, but as far as size, he's a lot bigger. Jeremy is 6'6", has a size 17-18 shoe. He has phenomenal hands, great hands, good footwork. Doesn't get a lot of playing time on the Carmel Christian team because they start 5 D1 players, but his time is coming. So those are just a little sample of the 5 that I'm looking at.
Sure. We most recently saw Breeland play in our MLK event. Mm-hmm. You know, that Lincoln Charter team is a senior-driven team. I think that he's really found his way into the lineup because he's so smooth and kind of an effortless type of game with the way he handles the ball, the ability to score and shoot and all that kind of stuff. I love Breeland. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
No, yeah, we saw Breeland. I mean, he's kind of working through the kinks right now, as all point guards are going to in the Bradley Gabriel offense. But I mean, he's picking things up quickly. I mean, he's a guy that he looks like he's slowly gonna learn how to take the keys and drive the car. But I mean, like you said, smooth as they come, already showing a lot of.
Yeah. The best thing that he has is he's playing on a team, like you said, that's senior dominated. So, Coach Gable doesn't have to depend on him a whole lot. So he can, learn through the process of how to be a good point guard at the high school level. Like you said, he's smooth. He has a high IQ. He plays with with a sense of urgency. So I like him. I think he's one of these kids that we need to keep a real close eye on.
I agree 100%. And he's getting coached well too. I think Bradley Gabriel's a really good developer of talent over there. I'll tell you, you mentioned DJ Nix too. I'll tell you one thing about DJ Nix that really stood out to me was, they came to our first 2 events of the year, the Carmel Christian Tip-Off and the National Showcase. The very first events played. And everybody was talking about Jaden Bradley coming in, rightfully so. Bradley's, top 10 player of the class, Team USA guy, all that kind of stuff. But Nix's motor was non-stop for both of those events. Obviously, he's got the size and all that kind of stuff, but he was a double-double machine with his ability to defend multiple positions, rebound, and do all that kind of stuff. And that really stood out to me, especially early on playing, against tough competition. He came out as a freshman in his first varsity games, and just non-stop motor coming at kids.
Yeah, the first game we saw him at was, I think, at the Carmel Christian. They went up against Carmel Christian the very opening night, but he was impressive.
Yeah.
And then also we saw him again at the National High School Showcase in Greensboro. We got to see him twice there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan, and I think you said everything about Hood. I think he's just got the world at his fingertips with his poise and ability to make people better on the floor, I feel like. Yeah.
And the thing is, he's so unselfish. He's not one of these point guards that over dribbles.
No.
He's a pass-first point guard, team-oriented, and he's the type of point guard that other people like playing with.
Yeah, that matters.
That matters.
Yeah, and another thing too about him too is he's got great size. He's not like one of those 6'4", 6'3" guys who people say, well, he's a point guard because he handles the ball. He's actually a true point guard with true college size already as a freshman, who plays the game in a very easy way. I think he's got the world at his fingertips when it comes to basketball. Jeff, who are some of yours?
So I mean, let's start with the Trinity Christian guys. Cam Oates. I think he's clearly they're going to be the point guard of the future after Horn leaves. Quick, kind of a true point guard. Scores the ball pretty well, but really just understands how to facilitate and keep the team running. And then Freddie DeLone, I think, is another guy that we talked about national consideration, but I think he is in the same kind of grain as DJ Nix, is a guy that could mount or vault himself into that type of level. We've seen the kid for 3 years now scoring against 20. If you're just walking on the court, scoring 23 levels however he wants, and he's just continuing to add more off the bounce. And I think this Greg Gant injury might be a blessing in disguise, kind of for their long-term growth and development right now. It's obviously not helping them in the short term, and with Greg being sidelined, but it's giving these guys a chance to play their young guys, work through some young stuff. Kenai Briggs, a guy from A.L. Brown, another guy we've seen multiple times in all 3 settings. We were kind of questioning whether is he going to be a guard long term, whatever. Yeah. But I think it's clear now. I think he's shown that he can create reliably. He's got a good size, college level size already, and he's a little sturdy, stocky, but he scores the ball well, and he understands how to keep everybody motivated on the team. And he's a good defender. Another guy, Shane Fernald, is a guy that I've been intrigued with for a long time. Probably one of the most interesting, characters that you come across.
He's very comfortable with himself.
Very comfortable, yeah, absolutely. He has no identity issues, and that's kind of what I love about him. Is he's already so versatile. It's like rarely do we see freshmen that can handle the ball so well, guard 2 to 3 positions already. I mean, he can really score the ball, but he can really handle the ball too. And I think his ability to handle the ball, even in transition or in the half court, is it's kind of unique for somebody of his size and how he plays. And then the last guy, kind of a wild card, Nolan Hodge, out of Northern Guilford High School in Greensboro. He's Coach Hodge's son. I've been seeing this guy for since even before I was involved with Phenom. He was at Prolific Park as a little baseball kid in 6th grade. Playing rec basketball, and I mean his feel's always been tremendous, even though he's only been playing the sport for 3 years now. And he's sprouted up from 5'10" to 6'3" over the last 7 months, I think. So he'll be one to watch for. Went and saw him on Friday, and
his dad played college basketball too, right? And his brother's like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, and his brother's a Bridgewater. Yeah. So I mean.
Those little brothers that always have that big brother who played basketball always have an advantage.
I was about to say, the groundwork has been laid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's already producing as well as his brother was as a senior.
Yeah.
Currently as a freshman. So definitely one to keep watch for.
That's interesting. I tell you, Freddie DeLone for me is somebody that you mentioned that I'm really intrigued with. He reminds me, I've said this before, he reminds me kind of what Damian Dunn was as a freshman too, with his ability to initiate for himself and score the ball. He's comfortable with his jump shot and he repeats it, the same motion of it, but it's almost a little two-handed with his getting his thumb involved and stuff, but he makes it, and he can score the ball at all three levels. He's got great size at about 6'4" too, and the confidence is truly there. Rick, what do you think about the Trinity freshmen, the Trinity Christian guys?
Well, one thing that Coach Heath has always had, he's always had talent, and we've seen Cam Oates. He was at our junior phenom camp last fall, and he's electric, he's quick, gets to the rim with ease. He's going to be another top player for Trinity Christian. Freddie DeLone, the length, the athleticism, the skill work, the whole package, and he's a hard worker. So I think those are two that's going to be heard about a lot for Trinity in the next 3 to 4 years. And the one kid that I really like that you mentioned is the Briggs kid from Kannapolis. He was at camp. I was just checking his stats for the year. As a freshman for Kannapolis, he's averaging 13.2 points a game. So he's making an impact early on at Kannapolis.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what's the crazy thing about him is that, as you alluded to, Jeff, was coming into AAU and everything, everybody talked about, well, he's an undersized big. He's already 6'3", 6'4", strong, and they always played him on the block. And he had all the questions of, well, will he be able to do anything else? Now, all of a sudden, he's come out with A.L. Brown out of Kannapolis, and he's the point guard. He's got the ball in his hands. He's making plays for everybody. I honestly think that Kanai Briggs is one person in this class who's not being talked about at the top yet, who could, at the end of the day, by the time he's a senior, be talked about as one of the, among the best in the entire class.
He was one that I had in my top 15 as far as, on the watch list.
Yeah, he's strong and athletic. He's quick. He makes shots. He makes plays and all that. I'm a huge Kanai Briggs fan as well. I think he's one moving forward. Fernald too is a good name. So moving on to my five. The first one, Jaden Bradley. I think it goes kind of without saying. His feel for the game is unbelievable. What I've been most impressed with him, almost along the lines of Jalen Hood-Schifino so far this year, has been the way that he's able to make players better. I think he's got great vision. I think he's able to get where he wants on the floor. And he's got a really wiry, lengthy, athletic frame that gets into the paint, and his vision is really good. It's much better than I thought it would be, especially coming to Canton at the varsity level. Canton plays a good schedule, and he's able to make plays, and he's also had a couple of outputs where he's able to really score the ball. 26 or so points in the game, and all that. So they call him Silk. I guess he's smooth, and he's got all that. I think Rivals just came out recently too. He was the number 5 player in the entire 2022 class, and Team USA guy, and all that stuff too. So very excited about him and Knicks moving forward. The next was Jaden Young. He's out of Wayne Christian, 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". The thing that's most impressive about him so far, my first time actually seeing Young was in the CP3 Rising Stars camp, and he was good. It's hard to stand out in that camp because there's about 9 million kids there, and it was really small, and it was almost like a meat market with how compact it was. But that was my first time seeing him. Throughout this year, he's come out this season playing with Jamal King, who's going to Winthrop. And he's shooting 44% from 3, 62 out of 139 so far in the year. Last week, he had games of 41 and 36. With that type of size, playing already at that type of level and the ability to shoot the ball, Rick says it all the time, but shooting translates from level to level. If you can shoot the ball, there's going to be a spot for you on the floor.
Absolutely.
And Young has that ability to shoot the ball. And him playing alongside Jamal King has allowed him to kind of ease into the varsity level and not have to be the man, kind of like you said with Anthony Breeland. He's been able to kind of rely a little bit on King and let King make plays for him, and allow him to ease into that. And he's really had success with it. Moving on to my next one is Jalen Higgins out of Village Christian, 6'4", 6'5" shooting guard. We've seen him a lot. Village Christian comes to a lot of our events, both last year and this year when he was in 8th grade, and then 9th grade this year. But last year he kind of came off the bench. He was one of the kind of last guys off the bench, but he always showed promise. He could really shoot the ball and had a great frame. This year he was a little bit more when Village came to both our team camps and our high school events. He was a little bit more in the rotation, kind of the 7th or so guy. Really shoots the ball. He has a great frame, good feel, good pace to his game from the wing position. Next one down is Deontay Green, out of Christ School. We've seen him in the camp setting, we've seen him in the AAU setting, and we've seen him in the high school setting over the last 2 years. He's just a very skilled guy. He's probably about 6'7", 6'8" now. He's got wing skill, he's got shooting ability, he's got the ability to get where he wants downhill off the bounce. And there's a lot of upside there as his body continues to fill out. As a playmaking type of wing, which is kind of where the game's going these days. And then one of my guys, I love guys that have upside. I love a project, I love a guy that you can look forward to in 2 years and him not be anything like he is now. And I think the one in this class is Christian Reeves for me. Sure. He's already about 6'10", 6'11", and you know he's still growing into himself. He's 14 years old, 6'10", 6'11", still growing into his body. But he's got soft hands. He moves really well. He runs the floor well, and I just think he's got a world of upside coming his way once he starts to fill out, once he grows into his body. I believe what you see right now, 2 years down the road, you know, you can't teach 6'10", 6'11". You just can't teach that. He might still be growing as well. You know, he's got like a 17 or 18 shoe as well. So he's got all the tools to grow.
Bigs always develop later.
Yeah, no question.
Known fact.
No question.
I remember we saw him at Summer Havoc with the Charlotte Nets. And
17s.
Some 17s. We're looking like, who is this guy? who's this, you know, unsigned senior? And he's a freshman, you know, rising freshman. Yeah, it kind of just speaks to what you're saying. I mean, he runs like a deer. It's just, it was beautiful to find out that he was a freshman. It's like, how do people not know about this guy? That time he was in 8th grade. Right, yeah. Rising freshman. How do people not know about this guy? Yeah. I mean, and it kind of just says, it's like, you know, David Boyden told me, just give Biggs a little bit longer.
Yeah, just give him a little bit of time, a little bit of patience.
Well, Jaden Bradley, like you said, his nickname is Silk. I'm gonna throw out a name. I'm not saying he's Chris Paul, but he has a Chris Paul type of game at 6'2". He's poised beyond his years. He's one of the most mature young point guards, I think, in the class. I mean, the battle between him and Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to be a classic for many years to come. That's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be like Kobe and Devon.
And just an idea, just as far as what the numbers that Jaden Young is putting up, he's averaging 26.2 points a game. Yeah. Now, that being said, the one thing when we look at these lists of kids, there's some kids that are freshmen that have opportunities, are starting. Sure. They're putting up some big numbers, but there's also a lot of players out there that maybe playing on a very talented team. You know, I mentioned Carmel Christian with Jeremy Gregory. Yeah. He's not going to get a lot of playing time. So we have to take those things into consideration as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the 2022 classes, they're brand new to the varsity level. Between now and their senior year, there's going to be a lot of fluidity with this class. That's why we're not really putting rankings and numbers beside their name yet, because we just don't have that comfort level with the kids. We want to be able to see kids, you know, as we've always said, the three-pronged approach, seeing them in camp, seeing them in AAU, seeing them in high school. You know, so we just haven't had enough time to see these kids enough yet. And there's so much growth, you know, but they're 14 years old right now. Between the time they're 14 and 18 years old, there's so much growth to be had.
Well, one thing I've learned over the years is you have to take this into consideration. Sometimes the top players as freshmen may not end up being the top players when they're seniors. Absolutely. And there's a lot of players that you may not have heard about as freshmen that by the time they're seniors, you're going to ask, you know, we missed out on, where did he come from?
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast. But there's a tremendous list here. I was just looking at a few other players that that we've seen, and I'll just mention their name. I won't go into depth and detail, but B.J. Morris over at West Forsyth, Chatham Lambiot, we've seen him. You know, Evan Smith, I saw him. He's with Audrey Kell. I really like him.
Yeah, that's the one you've talked really highly about.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. And the kid that I've seen as far as on film is he's a smaller guard. He's coming to our camp in South Carolina. Is Mark Ray. He's putting up some big numbers for Albemarle as a freshman. So I'm anxious to see him at our camp in a couple of weeks.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I think also we can also add MJ Rice to this discussion. I mean, we didn't really touch on him very much, but I mean, this guy might be the best prospect in the entire class. I mean, we're talking about the guards being Kobe Devine, but what if Kobe and Devine had, you know, Grant Williams ahead of them? That's what this might be.
Yeah, no question.
Well, I think like in the 2021 class, we've talked about the balance. It's not top heavy.
Right.
Whereas you look at the 2022 class, there's a lot of balance, but you got 3 guys that stand out. And I think these 3 guys have a chance to be top 20 guys nationally.
Absolutely.
And that's M.J. Rice, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and Jaden Bradley. Those are going to be the 3 names that we hear about the most in this class in North Carolina.
It's almost like in 2016 when they had Harry Giles, Dennis Smith, and Idris Adebayo.
Mm-hmm.
Those were clearly the 3 that were kind of head and shoulders ahead of everybody else, and then everybody else was, you know, there's some other top 50, top 100 guys in the class, but those 3, and I agree with you, they were all 3 invited to the Team USA mini camp this past year, and they're all 3 probably top 15, top 25 type guys.
Yeah. And MJ, I haven't seen him. I did see him last year as an 8th grader. I haven't seen him as a high school player yet.
Yeah.
Because the events that he was going to be, he was hurt, so I didn't have a chance to see him in high school. But I know when he was an 8th grader, he was remarkably athletic, explosive. One of the most exciting players I've seen at the 8th grade in quite some time.
Yeah, he was very impressive at our preseason camp. I think we had a team camp. I was over at Northwest. I believe they had 1 game over there. He was tremendous.
Yeah, and I've been out to see Durham Academy this year. And the great thing about what MJ Rice is doing here is that Durham Academy is incredibly well coached, and they have 5 guys playing as 1. So whereas MJ might go out one game and get 6 points, and then he might go out the next game and get 26 points. But regardless, they're winning and they're playing team basketball, and he's learning. You know, so I think that's an unbelievable thing that he's having at Durham Academy. I think it's only making him better as well.
And the other kid that I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot about, is Osha White.
Yeah.
From Garner, 6'7". I'm anxious to see him play, you know, in the spring.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He came to camp, I think, last year, and then didn't play middle school basketball last year, I don't believe, and he came to camp, and then this year he's been at Garner. I haven't been able to see him, so.
I know Donovan Atwell is a guy we haven't talked about. We haven't seen very much, but I know that Team United absolutely loves him. Nick Johnson talks about him all the time.
And he's averaging 15.3 points a game as a freshman.
Nick's calling him the best 3-point shooter in this class, so definitely a kid to watch out for. Dalen Pritchard, a guy that we saw with Lincoln Charter. It was weird. We actually saw him with Lincoln Charter before Breeland came and was joining the team. And then when Breeland joined the team, you know, Pritchard not with the team anymore. So still a good player though, still very intriguing. Yeah. And then 2 more guys, James Wilkins out in Calvary Day.
Jelly Fam J.
Yeah, I mean he's been having a good season.
Oh, yeah.
Though teams are still, you know, double and triple teaming Jackson Gammons, you know, rightfully so. Wilkins is you know, slowly, gradually stepping into his role. You know, showing he's got a little bit off the bounce. You know, maybe potentially handle the entire offense on his own. He's a very intriguing guy. And then Julius Reese Jr., another guy we saw, he's out in Glen. They've had the best season they've had in years, and that's behind him as a freshman, you know, leading the way. So just another guy to watch out for, Julius Reese Jr.
Yeah, I saw, I coached in a little rec league team last year, 8th grade rec league team with my brother last year, and Hagen Adderhold here at Cary Academy, and then Nolan Ford at Sanderson. We're both in that league. They're actually both on the same team, and they were impossible to defend. So that's a story for another day. But Nolan Ford starts this year for Sanderson. Big 6'7", 6'8" center. And then Adderhold has an unbelievable feel. He can really shoot the ball too, and just has an unbelievable feel for the game. So that's it for the 2022 class, I guess. Hopefully we got you kick-started with, with some names to watch out for and all that. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, PhenomHoopReport.com channel. That's what this is being shown on. And also follow us on all social media outlets. On Twitter, Phenom_Hoops. On Instagram, Phenom_Hoops. For Jeff Bendel, for Rick Lewis, I'm Jamie Shaw. Thank y'all very much.